Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am having the pleasure of filming an interview today with Michelle, my new friend who is visiting Montenegro. Hello, hi Michelle.
Hi Christina.
Michelle comes from UK and Australia and spent 3 weeks in Montenegro so far, and we will talk about how her stay was, the people she met, how she feels Montenegro as a country, including energetically, and she'll tell us about her exciting profession and actually I think quite an unusual profession. Michelle is an identity alchemist. And what's how can
Confidant, an identity
Confidant.
alchemist and
Okay,
confidant.
identity alchemist and confidant. Welcome, Michelle, and tell me, how are you today?
Thank you for having me on, Christina. I'm really good. I mean, we've had several windy, chilly days, and then today the sun is back out. It's a beautiful Saturday. I'm great.
Excellent. What brought you to Tivat, Montenegro?
So for me, as you said, I'm from the UK originally, but I've been living in Australia for 11 years. So I'm actually a UK and an Australian citizen, and back in March I decided to completely close my life down in Australia. So I gave away, sold everything I owned. So I actually just have one 65-litre bag. My whole life fits in that bag. And I'm in a place where I'm looking for a new base or bases for me to have my life. So I've been trying different places out, and I decided that I would come check out Tivat and Montenegro as one of those places.
Yeah, fantastic. How has it been so far for you?
So it's been really lovely so far. I have met lots of people. It's been very easy to meet people. A few weeks before I decided to come here, I thought I'd join a few of the Montenegro Facebook groups and just see what is happening. And then I saw somebody mention a WhatsApp group, so I asked to be added to that group, and it's got 300 expats in that group, and almost immediately met people. It's been super easy to meet people. The area is really, really beautiful. You've got the rolling hills, and then you've got the Adriatic, and those two meeting, and so it's a very lovely place to land actually.
Excellent. On your first day of arriving here, how did you feel about this place?
So I felt really calm, and my body felt really, really good. I'd actually done a massive trip. I'd flown from the US overnight, got into London. I had 13 hours in London where I ran around and had the most fun with people I knew, and then I flew out via Barcelona that night. So when I got here, I was absolutely knackered, but immediately I felt a sense of kind of correctness and calmness in my body. When people say, well, how did you end up in Montenegro and Tivat? I'm a big believer of noticing the nudges that come along and the intuitions and the way your body sort of leads you towards things, and then following it up with the logical, rational mind. And for me, it was my body. It was a nudge of go explore Montenegro. And then, as I did a bit of research, there was lots of things about it that were logical, made sense. For example, I'm obviously no longer in the EU with either of my passports, thank you Brexit, so I'm limited with what I can spend in the European Union and Schengen, but obviously Montenegro is in neither of those at this point, so I can come here 90 days visa free. It gives me somewhere within Europe, which is, I'm kind of yearning to be back on this continent. It's got the hills, it's got the water, so that's hiking and kayaking and sailing, and it feels that there's something new starting here. So my body kind of led me here, and then I always think the acid test is how does your body feel as soon as you get somewhere? So even though I was tired from all the travel, I felt almost this exhalation and a calmness in my body. So I felt really good when I arrived.
Sounds amazing. Tell me about your profession. I really want to learn more.
Thank you. So I'm an identity alchemist and confidant. And so what that means is, and I will actually backtrack for just a moment, I was a consultant for a really long time. I used to work with C-suite, with exec teams. And 7 years ago, I decided I wanted to leave that because I wanted to do something where I could work with people and I could see an impact really, really quickly. And so the work that I do now is I work with people who are on the edge of an elevated identity. So they're moving into this higher version of themselves. And that space before that is something I call the liminal space. And you'll know you're in the liminal space if you feel that you are not who you were, kind of shedding an identity over here, but you're not yet who you're becoming. You're kind of in that in between. And we're like on location, so you get all the noises. So the liminal is always an in-between. So, you know, we have physical liminal spaces, airports, corridors. We have biological liminal spaces. You know, perimenopause, your teenage years are those transition periods. And then we have these big liminal spaces where we're moving into an elevated identity. So I work with people in that space so they can really become their signature self. And this has been quite interesting because certainly here in Tibet, there is an energy of that. You get a sense there are people moving between versions of themselves. They've left lives, careers, sometimes marriages. There seems to be a lot of marriages that have broken up before people come here. And people are moving into this next version of themselves. And the reason why that's really interesting is if you're in the liminal, like all parts of life, right, there's a contrast. So on one hand, it can be deeply uncomfortable. It can be really uncomfortable and overwhelming, but also it's full of so much possibility and potential. And I call it this kind of electric terrain. So I guide people through that so they can access that elevated identity and all of the results that that person has, whatever that looks like, whether it's, you know, business results, money results, relationship results, health results, etc., and they can access that quicker. So that's my work.
Fantastic. Tell me please what advice you have for people who would like to come to Montenegro but are not decided yet, either to visit or relocate here.
I'd say come and give it a go. I'm very much of the mindset, put your body in the place and see what your body tells you, not what your mind is telling you, because your mind can lead you astray. Your mind is here to work out how, but let your body tell you what's correct. So book a flight and come. It's very easy to access expats here. It's very warm. Join some Facebook groups, get in a WhatsApp group, go out, say yes to everything. I think when you first go somewhere, you say yes to everything, and then you start to notice, you know, who you want to develop those more intimate connections with, and then you can sort of contract that group a little bit, but go broad, say yes to everybody, and just come along. It's an easy place to integrate into, I would say, and it's really beautiful. Like, you can't go wrong with these mountains and hiking and the water. You really can't.
Yeah. What surprised you the most when you first arrived or during the time here?
What surprised me? There's been a bunch of things that have just randomly surprised me. So it's a small thing, but the water here is nowhere near as hard as the Mediterranean. So I find when I've been living in, say, the French Riviera and Greece and Spain and all these places, like you know, you wash your hair and your skin, you can tell you're in hard water. The water here is actually really lovely. Didn't expect that. Small thing, but it makes a difference, right?
Yeah.
I've been a little bit surprised by the traffic. I had this vision that I would be able to hire a car and just pop off to Budva and all these various places really easily, and my understanding is that there's a lot of traffic and the infrastructure isn't quite there so much. But across the board, it's very warm and welcoming here, and it's been very easy. Also, I was told from a bit of all the research I'd done that it was very much cash-based, and I'm sure that outside of Tibet it's cash-based, but if you're here it's very easy to pay by card. So get yourself a Wise account or a Revolut account if you don't have them. It's super easy.
Excellent. Did you manage to get new friends in the expat community?
I did, and as I said, it's been super easy. So when I arrived, because I'd come off the back of so much traveling, for the first week I just laid low. I was just settling, I was working with my clients, you know, going to the supermarket, going to the beach, etc., just keeping it really quiet. 1 week later, I joined some expat drinks, and from that point on I met tons of people, including yourself. And I mean, that weekend I went to a gallery opening, you invited me to pomegranate wine tasting. If you've not had pomegranate wine, you should. It's delicious. And I've honestly got coffees booked in my diary with so many interesting people that I've met. I ended up last week on an impromptu trip to Croatia. So at 5 p.m. on Saturday, I was invited to go to Croatia for 3 days, and we left at 8 a.m. on the Sunday. So yes, I've met lots of really varied people. So it's been very interesting.
Fantastic, Michelle. Well, if you want to get in touch with Michelle, please drop a comment below. She does amazing work, very needed work for all of us, especially expats who are leaving our old reality and identity behind.